Hello, loves. This is your host, Carrie Hamilton of Bottoms Up. 2025 has been a year of truth, trauma, transformation, and healing. This podcast became a space where hard conversations were no longer avoided. Pain was given a language, and growth was honored, even when it was uncomfortable. Together, we explored the depths of trauma, the power of awareness, the courage it took to break cycles, and the healing that comes when we stop running from ourselves and start listening within. This year wasn't about perfection. It was about progress, presence, and purpose. Every episode was shaped not only by stories that all of us shared with each other, but by the community that showed up, those that leaned in, and those who chose healing over silence. Your messages, your reviews, your shares, your encouragement, they all have meant so much to me, more than you will ever know. This podcast exists because you listen. As we move into the new year, I want you to know how ecstatic I am to grow this journey with you. If these conversations have resonated with you, please, please, please share them, subscribe, help get the word out, give reviews on Spotify, anything. Just basically provide it to others and get this out there so that it helps others who are still searching for hope, clarity, and healing. Cheers to a continued growth for every single one of us and for deeper healing, transformation, and truth. I hope you know how loved you truly, truly are, and thank you for being a part of this community, my podcast, and sharing your journey of life together. Love and light to all. Talk soon. Here's an overview of 2025. Cheers. Hello, all my loves. Here we are, the last episode of 2025, and what a year it has been. Insane, I think, is probably the most summed up word that all of us can use. It has been such a ride, and I'm so blessed for each and every one of you for supporting me, for listening, to tuning in, to reaching out, to just giving feedback and love and support. It truly, truly means the world to me. And if anything, if I were to have any wish for my podcast, it would be that it helped you in some sort of way, whether it was growth or power or strength, or just to know that you're not alone in this crazy world that we are all living in. I truly pray that each and every one of you are filled with so much love, prosperity, abundance, and so forth for the next coming year in 2026. With that being said, I wanted to wrap up this last episode with 25 highlights that I wanted to share with you for the 2025 year. So let's dig in. Number 25, this is your life, your gift. It's not a rehearsal. It's not a test. It's not a practice run. It's not a rough draft. Do not disregard how rare it is, nor allow others to live the life for you. Everyone has their own gift. Live your life the way you want to use your gift and how you appreciate your gift. Number 24, tell everyone what they mean to you, because not everyone gets multiple opportunities. Number 23, smile often. Number 22, be kind, always. Number 21, the monsters we fight, we must not become. Number 20, give the fight for those who would and will fight for you, not against you. Number 19, darkness cannot exist in the presence of light. Bitterness cannot exist in the presence of gratitude. Number 18, I want to take you to an interview with Mr. John Harrell, who is the host of the Determined People podcast. Him and I sat together, and it was such a great experience and really touching, because he reminded others that we all experience pain at some point in life, but healing is the most rewarding thing that you could do, because it gives you kindness and peace and love in your heart, which is what you need to pour out to others. He's also on the board of Rachel's Challenge, and Rachel was one of the Columbine students who was killed in the Columbine massacre. She is now, her family, she's now living the legacy through her family, and her family did the Rachel's Challenge, which is a nonprofit organization spreading love and kindness throughout schools all over, whether it's from stopping suicide to bullying to, again, just being kind to others. It's such a great nonprofit and has saved so many lives over the years since the Columbine shooting has taken place. Let's take a look and see a recap of that episode.
When you start actually doing for you and filling that cup, let's just say, of love and care and completeness inside of yourself, everything else just attracts to you. You don't even like go and find it. They're just like, hey, did you want to go to the movies? You're like, well, that was weird. I was thinking about going to the movies. Like, it seriously, like, doesn't it like attract to you? It's like, what the heck are these people inside of my head?
My psychotherapist said something to me years ago, early on in psychotherapy. And I'm skeptical. I think scientifically, which means I question everything. But I have observed that this is true. He said, the healthier I become mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, the healthier people I'm going to attract into my life. And I've found it to be true.
Yes.
It's true. And so, like I say, I've got this small sphere of really good people that are friends of mine that I am very grateful for because they're really good people. They're all successful, but it has nothing to do with what they do. It's who they are.
Right.
I saw a bumper sticker, recently. It said, "The one with the most toys wins." No, the one with the most toys, he's going to die too. Okay? He dies.
It's true. He dies too. We all.
It's all the measuring stick, though. But if you go to other cultures, see, the greed of the United States. The culture of the United States is greed. But if you go to like Mexico, you go to Lebanon or European countries, they're all family oriented. They're togetherness oriented. They get out and they do stuff together. Whereas the United States is like, we're trying to get more. How fast can I get from here to here?
Yes.
And we're impatient. So anybody can bring good from good. Only God can bring good from evil.
Yes.
Those two shooters, they made a bunch of videos and they had pipe bombs that they had perfected. There were supposed to be 2 pipe bombs that went off that day in the school cafeteria, and they both failed. And they had perfected it. Something bigger was at work here, again, even in that moment. Because they figured that the pipe bombs would go off and kids would come pouring out of the cafeteria, and they were sitting there on this little knoll with their weapons pointed. They were just going to start picking kids off. 200 kids could have been killed that day.
Yes.
And even though it was 12 kids and 1 teacher, too many, it could have been much, much worse. But since the pipe bombs didn't detonate, they picked up all their stuff and just started marching in toward the school. And Rachel was the first child that they, that they encountered, and they shot her 4 times point blank. And,
wow.
Yeah. And so, good. So much good has come from this. Daryl would love to have his daughter back, but he doesn't have that privilege.
Right.
He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life. I mean, just a really neat man. I actually interviewed him for my show. That was, I think I put it out in either April or March of 2024, which was right before the 25th anniversary of Columbine.
Wow.
People can go back and they can find that and learn more about the organization and about Daryl and what his life was like. And it was insane. CNN literally, kid you not, was parked on his front lawn for a year.
Oh, I bet.
After Columbine.
My sister was one of the jurors in the Rod Blagojevich stuff that was all over here, and they were parked outside my parents' house forever. I'm like, will these people go home, please? It was like, man, my poor sister actually stopped to go. She moved basically out. Stayed with friends and stuff because she was just like, she couldn't even go home.
They'll
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were,
they
were atrocious.
They can be relentless.
Those media fools. No, I'm just kidding.
Number 17, you are a masterpiece, a piece of the master. It is with the pieces of our shattered lives that we build the masterpiece we're meant to be. Number 16, happiness is not just good feelings. It is about the absence of bad ones. Your mind is the steering wheel of life. You have to get your mind right in order to live a successful and blessed and peaceful life. Number 15, the journey is less difficult when you find meaning in the struggle. 14, the path isn't meant to define you. It's meant to discover you. Number 13, it was an interview with Jarrett Vagel. He was in a motorcycle accident and lost all mobility of one of his arms. And as a man, you take your worth and value from the ability of what you could provide. He felt worthless and that he wasn't able to do or be anyone because he lost the mobility of his arm. But with faith and reality that his worth isn't in the hands of others, he turned his pain into purpose. And he now is starting different nonprofits and going around and helping others with a disability to discover their worth and value. He talked about how letting go and letting God had helped him on his journey. Let's take a look and recap that video with Jarrett.
Even though I'm giving it to God, I was still trying to control it. And finally it just, you just have to give that control up and realize, things work out the way that God has planned. And, and that's something that being able to look back through those different situations, especially through the financial collapse and losing everything and all the different steps that I had to take to change that. It was something that I had to go through. And at that time, it was the question, well, where are you, God? Why am I going through all this horrible stuff? Where are you? When he was right there with me. He was just waiting for me to finally give up to him.
Yes. Get rid of the ego. And, and it's crazy how there's things that happen that's exactly what happens. It's like, okay, you won again, and I mean, that's how I felt. Same thing. I would have everything organized. And like I said, just together, and same thing financially. I never was like financially hurting, and surprise, it's this, you go backwards to go forward, but it's because you have to go on a different route. The path isn't the one that you're going down. And it's amazing how the ego gets broken down, I guess, for better words, how it happens. And you almost have no other answer but letting it out there for God to handle, and you just roll with it. And sure, it took a lot for me because, like I said, I was always together and had my stuff in line, and now I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can tell you my name. Is that okay? Like, that's how I feel most days. Like, I'm winging it.
It is. Well, it's having that trust, and something that wasn't there yesterday, and now it's here today.
Yes. Well, what I learned too is I had a pastor once tell me that, well, not me in general, but just the audience, said something in the nature of like, faith is not of the knowing, faith is of the trusting. You have to trust and give your trust in faith that the answer is going to come out for you of what it's supposed to be, instead of seeking the answer and wanting to know the answer and, having that control. Like you said, it's crazy because then I'm like, that's so true. Like, you have to just be lost. Just be lost out there and go with the flow.
And it's having that trust and having that faith. And, one of my favorite verses is Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And how do you believe in that? And that's the trust, and that's that is faith. So it's having that trust in God. That.
Number 12, when children are groomed for abuse as a child, they grow up lacking empathy. 11, adding to the negativity and harm is becoming them. Karma is given in our healing. 10, stop placing your confidence in people's opinions and assumptions, and place confidence within yourself. Number 9, don't allow lies about you create the lies within you. People either pray for you or pray against you. Number 8, you did nothing wrong by asking to be treated right. Number 7, you are someone, some of the one. Number 6, you will never find freedom if you do not heal. You can suppress it all you want, but the pieces of your trauma will always be seeds and stems and eventually make its way out if you don't heal yourself internally, and you will always project that negativity and anger and hurt and pain externally. Number 5 was my interview with Rennick Morris, and he was a recovering alcoholic. He had shared his story with us and his journey on his trips to AA and asking others for forgiveness. I personally have experienced an abusive stepfather that suffered alcoholism, and I gave my side as a victim side versus the recovering alcoholic side. I shared that with Rennick, and he was astounded, and I want to recap that with you. Let's take a look.
It's community, it's connection, it's all those things that we strive to have, but don't know how to get there. And we get lost in the madness. And I know I can say for myself that, if it wasn't screwed down, I stole it. If I didn't get what I want, I hurt you to get it. And I didn't care what the consequences were. And it left me in a place where I was isolated, alone by myself. I couldn't ask for help. And I finally had to do something for me. And, thankfully, it's worked out the way that it's supposed to work out. But I know that that's not my primary purpose, is to be selfish and self-centered. It's really kind of the opposite. And to your point, it's simple, right? Like it's the instructions are simple. It's what complicates it is everyone else, right? Like it's just really simple to just be kind. Like I remember going into a church basement for an AA meeting, and the pastor that we were renting the room from, he had his collar on and everything, and he was in the kitchen where I was emptying out the coffee because that was my job to make coffee that night. And I was like, "What's up, Father?" And he was like, Nothing's going on. I was like, "What's a good word today?" And he's like, "Help thy neighbor." And I was like, "Whoa, he's right. Just be kind. Like, help your neighbor, right? Like if they need help chopping wood, go help them chop wood. Maybe they'll do the same for you. Not because you hope that they will, but because you just know that it's the right thing to do. It's unconditional. And I have no expectations on what you'll do for me in exchange for my willingness to be kind and caring and loving, but also not be a doormat. And I think that's what it boils down to. Like, I didn't know how not to be a doormat. And it's okay. Right. It's okay to say, I'm not going to do that. And it's not okay to be around somebody that you constantly tell you can't cross this line, that doesn't care and crosses it all the time. Right? Like that's not a partner. That's something different. And that's something that I had to learn after a long period of time that I didn't want. Like if this person wasn't willing to understand that they couldn't cross that line because it's not a line I wanted them to cross, and they did it every day anyway, like what do I got here?
And that just comes down to boundaries. Like right. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. Boundaries are bridges to only allow the right ones in.
Right.
And if you don't allow your boundaries to stick to you, then what are you placing them for? If it's an open house to everybody that you're placing,
a doormat, right?
And exactly, it's a doormat, and people will treat you the way that you allow them to.
Correct.
So if you keep giving a pass for the way that they're treating you, they will keep doing it, and they will push further and further and further, and the next thing you know, you're someone that you're not even.
Right. You're someone that's looking forward to rub their muddy shoes on your back when they come back inside. And you're saying to myself, thanks for doing that. That was great.
And one way, like relationships, marriages, whatever you want to call it, they do not work without reciprocity. Mm-hmm. You have to have reciprocity in order for things to work, because it's not a 2-lane street. Or when people say it's 50-50, no, it's not. It's 100-100. Mm-hmm. You both give your damn all. And there's someone listening right now and they feel like, oh man, this is where I am right now. Like, I'm that guy. I need help. Like, what would you recommend to them to do? Like, to seek help? Would you recommend them going to someone in their circle, or more of a AA type of thing, outside therapist? I feel like sometimes too, you know, the word therapy or a therapist to someone, right there, they just say weakness. Like they just feel that it's such a weak thing. And it's not a weakness at all. I highly suggest, I think even just normal everyday people should go see therapists because it's someone outside of your circle. You know, you don't want to really talk or confide in so many people inside of your circle because they're part of your life and not necessarily an issue, but they're part of who you are.
Right.
So
I think to answer your question, I believe that each one of us has, at least one person that they can be completely, naked in front of, not physically, but like, I can't do this anymore. Right. Like that could be a priest. It could be a rabbi. It could be your best friend. It could be your parent. It could be your sister. It could be whoever it is that, if you're in that spot where you're identifying with a lot of what you and I are talking about, then you got to ask yourself, have you had it? And they've said to themselves, I've been in enough pain. Like I no longer need to do this anymore. I would connect with one of the people that, isn't going to judge you for whatever, you're willing to tell them and ask them, what should I do? Right? Like, should I go see a therapist? Should I go to rehab? Should I go to talk to a priest? Should I, what should I do? Because I needed someone to tell me what I needed to do. I needed someone to say, you need help. And I needed to finally agree that I did need help. And then when you're ready to make that decision, or I heard my father say that he was open to having help, like I see that I can, and that it's not a detriment that you ask for help, and it was absolutely a thing at that moment. Like I would call that sort of like confirmation that I was loved unconditionally by a higher power and by God himself. And so yeah, it's not fun. It's not what you want to do. I wouldn't recommend going out and doing it, but I had someone who told me what I needed to do and how to do it. And I bit through the bullet and did it. And again, I came out just a better human being and the person I know God wants me to be.
And I asked that because, I had a childhood abuser, and it wasn't actually until here 30 something years later, I started this podcast, and I was on an individual's podcast, and he was sent the podcast that I had done with one of our
with the guy, right?
And he ended up writing me a letter, and he had gone through AA, and he had apologized to 30 something years later. Yes. And
no way.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience for you when you heard it?
Well, see, for me, going through my trauma, I had to go through forgiveness, because you can't move on from situations until you forgive.
Right.
So for me, I had already forgiven him, even though there was nothing, that I never.
There was no formal forgiveness ceremony, right?
Exactly. So when he had sent it to me after seeing that podcast, it was crazy, because I felt like, the first day I got it, I broke down in tears. And it's mainly because I felt like I had been yearning for this, but I never asked for that forgiveness. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until, and here it had affected my entire life. And it wasn't until my recent adult abuse and stuff that I went through therapy. So it was literally after all the chaos, and that's when he sent it. So my criminal court case was just ended this last December of 2024. And he had just sent this I'd say February or March of this year, maybe even April of this year. So just recently that he saw the podcast and ended up sending me an apology letter. And I took a day to think about it, but then I ended up writing him back, and I basically said, I could read my response. It's pretty quick, but I basically just said,
what did he say? Did he admit to you what he did wrong?
Yes, he said that he was very sorry, that he was fighting his own monsters, and he was trying to control himself, and really he was controlling everyone around him. And he had stated that he remembers but doesn't remember some of the things, you know, in such detail.
Right.
And he had said that he hoped that I, for the sake of myself, that I could forgive him. And so even in my letter back, I said to him that, you know, I had already forgiven you because I needed to heal myself.
I needed to do it for myself. Yeah.
But now I said, thank you for giving me the words that now I can match to the absence of words that I had made for myself for the forgiveness. But I pretty much said that, you know, you were a monster and, you know, it wasn't easy fighting the demons. I said, and I can relate with you fighting the demons because I didn't fight them with you. I also fought them in you. So, you know, I saw the monster because you were that monster to me, you know?
Right.
And I said I also needed to basically heal because I never wanted to be that monster to my own children.
Right.
And if I didn't do that, that was exactly what I would have been, you know?
Right.
And I pretty much I can read this to you, but, you know, read it to people, but I just said, you know, I hope this message finds you well. And I said, I hope that it gives you peace in the presence of your enemies you now face in a sober state of mind and health. Your words of apology are appreciated and accepted. However, I must say I forgave you years ago as I needed to in order to heal myself. But thank you, as I now have words to attach to the silence of forgiveness I made peace with. The pain and suffering you caused me needed to be faced as it caused many years of destruction in my life. And it wasn't until I was able to face it, feel it, and heal it, I kept bowing to the devil I knew of darkness, chaos, and craziness instead of the light, the love, and the laughter. As I was raised knowing what love is not and not what love is. Also, becoming a mother and a parent myself, I wanted to assure that I would never projected the pain and suffering onto my children, as no naive child should ever face the horrible things you did to us. Many times I would ask God to please never make me the monster that you were, to give me nothing but love, affection, and attention that a child needs, that my children should never have to beg to be loved, or for the bare minimal things parents should do, which is assure their children's health and safety. I needed to assure that my children never grew up thinking that they were not good enough or the problem, or that they had to fear love because all they knew was malice. I asked God for love, not only for myself, but my children, and also to help others who are fighting the deep internal wounds that cause destruction in their lives and all those around them, rather than becoming the monster I once feared. God does just that. He works through others. This is why I have chosen to share my story publicly, not for pity, not for attention or malice or anyone. It's for love, light, and for healing. We all face demons in our lives, and I believe it because our souls are the end prize. Our soul is what gives us life, both internally in our human bodies and eternally as our spirits pass. We all have the gift that we were given, which is the gift of free will, to choose if we want to allow the darkness, the destruction, and the addictive spirit by continuing to bow to the devil we know so well from generational trauma, by coping with masking with substances, or if we want to choose to heal and embrace love, light, and peace by praising the God we never truly knew. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I'm sure you haven't heard those words much because you've numbed and projected your pain for so long, making it the weight of others instead of your own. However, I hope they resonate with you a little more coming from me, one who has faced the devil in you and with you. And now, proud that you chose the light of the Lord just as I have, despite the darkness we knew and entertained mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. As you stated in your message, you're reaping the repercussions of your behaviors, as I too have from my own trauma. The biggest lessons we usually have are the hardest losses. And possibly this is why I could relate to your message in many ways. Again, thank you for your words and best wishes on your healing and sobriety journey. Peace be with you and God bless. So that is what I wrote back to him for.
Wow.
And number 4, thunderstorms are God's way of reminding us that even nature needs to scream. Pain always demands to be felt, but the feeling is also what keeps you alive. We must experience rain if we ever truly want to experience and appreciate the sun. Number 3, the subconscious mind is seeing your life through others' eyes, through others' opinions and others' assumptions. The conscious mind is seeing your life through reality, through God's eyes, and through the truth. You see, the subconscious mind only becomes reality when you allow it to be, when you give attention to what others say and do and what they assume. Don't let yourself go through life with the vision of your journey set by another. Be authentic, be you, and believe in yourself. Number 2, if you ever doubt how amazing you are, or how blessed you are, or how loved you are, your story is your survival and a reminder of all of those things. And there are many out there waiting to hear your story so that they could see how amazing you are and use your story for their survival so that they could become a survivor just like you. Use your voice because it truly saves. And lastly, number 1, during this year, I began a nonprofit, which is called Patsy's Purpose. You can visit it at www.patsyspurpose.com. I'm asking each and every one of you to help me in some sort of way, whether it's sharing Patsy's Purpose out to everyone that you know on your social media platforms, whether it's making a small donation, or whether it's just reaching out and volunteering or doing something of kindness to help build Patsy's Purpose. And what Patsy's Purpose is helping others, giving love for those that are in need, whether it's domestic violence individuals who can't get away from their abusers because they don't have the funds to stay somewhere, finding different shelters or locations around them, whether it's helping individuals get back on their feet from abusive situations or struggles, anything in that nature. It's a donation-based nonprofit, so we can only help those who we obtain donations and the funds to help people for. It could be even things like elderly or disabled that are having trouble with electricity, heat, the simple things, food, anything in that nature. It's basically lending a helping hand, a loving heart, and kindness to anyone that we can help based on the donations that we receive. So please help me spread the word and spread the love because there's so many people out there that need us. I wish you the best in 2026. I want to tell each and every one of you that you are so amazing. You are so loved. And I hope that you see that and know that and have such an amazing, abundant, prosperous, and blessed life come 2026 and going forward. Never forget who you are because anyone will be out there trying to spread darkness and hatred over the light that you are, especially when you shine bright. Many become jealous of that. Make sure you keep shining because light will always draw out the darkness. Much love. Thank you so much for joining today. Don't forget to review, share, like, subscribe, and push this podcast forward so we can have an amazing 2026. Stay safe and love to all.